Trump said many things today about the war with Iran. A deal was 1 or 2 days away. The Strait of Hormuz is wide open. Iran has agreed to almost everything, including, the president said, in a conversation with my colleague 𝗍𝗃 𝗍, a joint U.S.-Iranian effort to remove all highly enriched uranium from the country. This handing over of the keys to Iran's nuclear kingdom would come, Trump told 𝗍𝗃, without the U.S. handing over even $1, not even, in Trump's words, 10 cents. About all of this from the president, Iran has said next to nothing. It did say, however, through state-run media, that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, that's the IRGC you hear so much about, would continue to supervise passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Might it exact tolls? Unclear. Is that perceived as menacing? Mostly yes, as vessels appear as hesitant today to transit the strait as they were yesterday. Also, this might be important, the U.S. blockade of any vessels linked to Iranian ports continues, which Iran said constituted a violation of these new current understandings. How big a violation? No one knows. And yet, markets exploded this morning with enthusiasm, though.
So basically, let me just sum up whatever that market react yesterday is based on what Trump said. And yesterday, to my students, I did tell them that it's time to look for a buying opportunity. And in fact, I bought it at 79 on WTI, 79 plus on WTI. But because there is lack of news and updates on the Iran side, I decided to exit at $81, right? Of course, the market closed at 83 plus. That's WTI. That's not your US oil contract. So the prices can be a bit different, but the movement is exactly the same. So what's going on? What's going to happen, right? If this thing escalate towards not so good result, basically, if Iran say, you know, this is not what we've been saying, you know, US have been lying, I'm not happy about it, a lot of things could happen. Let me just show you this first before I share with you more about these thoughts that I have over here.
If you go along our controlled route, saying Iran is still essentially in control. Another post President Trump made was that Iran has agreed to give up the nuclear dust, his term for the near bomb grade enriched uranium, about 900 pounds of it that is still deeply buried inside Iran.
And not dust.
And not dust. Iran said, again, we have not agreed to that. And in fact, an Iranian news agency just posted before this show began that Iran considers the enriched uranium, quote, as sacred to us as Iranian soil and will never be surrendered. So while President Trump is selling, as you said, his points, Iran is still declining those. So huge gaps remain ahead of this deadline on Tuesday of the ceasefire.
So you could see many things could happen before the ceasefire, and this is something that we do not want to take it lightly. I'm going to really reassess the entire situation on Monday, but what's really important for you to know is that even though you are not trading, this is going to affect you because the food prices, oil prices is going to go back up and even go higher, right? So in your cities, in your countries you live in, do check even, you know, these past 1 or 2 days, the prices actually came down. If it does, then, you know, you have slightly lesser worry, but if it doesn't, it will just keep on going higher and higher. So let's listen to this part.
We look at today, that traffic, as I said, kind of stalled. Is it open? Is it not? How should we evaluate this? How should we think about this?
Let's zoom in, Major, to the Strait of Hormuz here. Look, the bottom line is, as of this moment, and things can always change very quickly, the Strait of Hormuz is not open. You know how you can't declare bankruptcy by just shouting in a crowded room, I declare bankruptcy? You can't open the Strait of Hormuz for the same reasons. The Iranians are going to have to agree. The closest they came this morning to agreeing was to state, as you and Eleanor were just discussing, that you can move through the strait on their approved route. That's this northern route here up through Iranian territorial waters. Now, even if that were true, and by the way, there have been some conflicting statements even on that as the day went on. Even if that were true, that's still pretty menacing in the way that, Major, if you were to walk out of your house into your street in front of your house one morning and there were a bunch of mobsters standing there and said, sure, you can walk down the street, but you got to walk down right here. If you walk down over there, we can't say what's going to happen to you. That's not acceptable on your street for law and order, and it's not acceptable in international
And it's not acceptable for the owners of the vessels or those insurers backing up what the cargo is.
That's right. Even if these international lanes, which are these white control measures you see down here, down the middle of the strait, were reopened today, it would take some time to build confidence back. If you have Iran still essentially throwing its weight around and saying, no, our strait, our rules, that's going to take it substantially longer if it's ever going to happen at all.
And the U.S. blockade remains.
Absolutely. So Iran has its de facto blockade even as we speak here in the strait itself. Then if we zoom out This is a bit of a wider look. We were just looking at this spot right here. That's the Strait of Hormuz. The United States Navy has drawn a line here, basically from the tip of Oman here up to the Pakistani-Iranian border. This is the blockade line. And Iran, which of course has ports all along the ocean, up the way its coast up here into the Persian Gulf, any ship entering or leaving an Iranian port, the United States Navy asserts it will intercept roughly in the vicinity of this line. It seems, based on Central Command statements, it's been pretty successful in getting ships to turn around as they come out. The question right now that I don't know the answer to, and I'm not sure anybody really does outside of CENTCOM, is what are they doing about ships going in? It's a little bit less clear and probably a little bit more challenging to catch them.
How do you evaluate what Eleanor and I were just talking about, this Defense Intelligence Agency declaration to Congress that Iran, I'm just going to quote it directly, retains thousands of missiles and one-way attack drones?
Well, they've got these deeply buried sites throughout the country where they've been storing this stuff. We have hammered them pretty hard, and they have a lot less than they did at the start of this war. Probably not enough to achieve much more beyond harassment throughout the region. But what does harassment look like? Harassment can look like blowing up a petrochemical plant. Harassment can look like hitting a ship in the Gulf. So even if Iran is militarily a lot less capable than it was recently, its ability to do these counter-economic targets remains. And that's why they...
So you could see that this thing, even though that is true that the Iran might not have as much weapons before like it starts, but it could really sabotage a lot, right? So let's have a look on this, and this is what I'm really concerned of, right? So if Iran leaders are angry enough, it could get the Yemen leaders to block another strait, not getting oil to get out. And this is what a couple of months ago, in fact, just last month, the Yemen leaders say it is fully supporting Iran. So this is something to really think about, and it's really time for you to plan in advance, right? So I'm not asking you to jump into trading if you have absolutely no idea. Please don't. Please learn, and if you love what we are sharing, drop us a DM. But the thing is that everything is going to get so much more expensive, right? It's time to really do something about it. It's time to do something for yourself, your family, and stuff like that. Follow our channel, get in your community to get the most updated news. And you know, because we do this independent analysis, sometimes some of our analysis came in faster, just like what we did yesterday, right? When everyone is so happy of that and oil coming down, we say it's going to go up and stuff like that. We have a couple of reasons to back that, right? We traded, profited a bit, but end of the day is getting in the right direction and know what could really happen moving forward, so you could always be a bit more prepared than the others.